Hello and welcome to a video overview of how to make your own bingo game using Google Sheets. So these bingo games can be pretty useful for having students go ahead and review or check something that they're learning, especially with the vocabulary. And the way I made this presidential bingo game is something I'm going to show you today. I'm going to actually make another bingo game, solar system bingo. I'm not going to make the whole thing, but I'll start it just to show you the process. So the way students are going to use these bingo games is they have a card here. In a way, you can imagine this as a digital card using a spreadsheet here, and they have these cells that they hover over, and I'm moving my mouse around. As you can see, when I hover over a cell, a clue pops out. So if I go ahead and hover over this cell, it says this president led the U.S. through the Civil War. He delivered famous speeches, including the Gettysburg Address. So then what you would do is you would want to put in the right answer into the cell and type it in. Now if I put in the wrong answer, Teddy Roosevelt, the cell is going to say white. And as the directions say over here, the cell is supposed to turn blue, like this color here, if the correct answer is entered. So I'm going to type in the right answer, Abraham Lincoln, and the cell turns blue. And the student would repeat this process until they get bingo, basically maybe 5 across here, 5 down, 5 diagonally, or if you want them to fill up the whole card, all the cells, you could do that as well. So how did I make this? That's the next thing I'm going to talk about here. So I'm going to go into my drive, which I have open over here. I'm going to press on the new button, go down to Sheets. So I'm going to click on Google Sheets. And like I said, maybe it's a science spreadsheet that I want to use as a bingo card. So for this purpose, I'm going to type in Solar System Bingo and retitle it that. And you can see I'm going to toggle back to this tab with the presidential bingo. I have my directions in column A, and I have 5 columns across for the bingo answers, and I have 5 rows here as well. So I'm going to show you how I did that. What I did was I just dragged out column A. I went to the line here between column A and column B, dragged it out a little, typed in directions, and I'll leave that there for now. I had a title, Presidential Bingo, and that actually fills up the first 4 rows. So, and the 5 columns here. So I'm going to go ahead and select these first 4 rows. I'm just left clicking and then dragging my mouse down. Now I'm going to drag it across these 5 columns, columns B through F. And then I want to merge all of these cells into one so that my title can fit there. So I merge it, and I want my title to be probably like 36 point, so Solar System Bingo. Okay. Then I kind of maybe want to change the font. I had selected this one earlier, maybe bold it. No, it's a little too big now, so I'll just leave it like that. And that's still too big, so maybe we'll actually not pick this one, we'll pick Impact. And then, yeah, I like that one. So I picked Impact as a font, and it's not centered, so we're gonna go ahead and select all of it and go ahead and center it horizontally. And we also want to center it vertically as well, so that it's kind of nice and centered there. Then we'll go ahead and format the background here with a different color with the paint can. And I don't know, I'll pick this color for now. Okay, so we got our title in. Now we need 5 rows and 5 columns, which we have here, for the cells that will contain our answers. So what we're going to do next is we're going to resize these because these are kind of small. So to resize them, I'm going to go ahead and select these 5 rows. Let's see, 5 through 9. That's 5 rows. And then I'm going to right click on any one of these. And we have this option here, Resize Rows. And I used 50 pixels as the new height. So I'm going to press OK. That resized them all. And then I also want to resize the width. So I'm going to go up to the columns now, and I'm going to left click, over these 5 columns, and I'm going to go ahead and right click and then go ahead and resize columns B through F. Right now they're at 100 pixels in width, and I want to resize them to 200. So I enter 200, press OK, and now they're the size I want them to be. Okay, so the directions, meanwhile, I want them going across all the way down here, so I'm going to merge. Actually, I already have text in here. Let me get rid of it so that it does it right. And merge these. And now I can enter the directions here, which I already have on here, and it would basically be the same directions except talking about the solar system instead of presidential bingo. Okay, and I would enter those later. I'm not going to spend time on that, but I also want to get rid of all of these rows down below. So I'm going to left click on row 10, and I'm going to scroll all the way down to row 1000 at the bottom. And I'm going to press the shift key on my keyboard and left click, and that selects all of the rows 10 through 100. And then I can right click on one of those and go ahead and select delete rows 10 through 1000. So I'm going to delete all of those. There, now I don't have those over there. And then I'm going to also delete columns G and all the way, oops, to the end here at column Z. And I'll click shift, left click, right click on any one of these columns, and then go ahead and select delete columns G through Z. Now I have my card looking the way I want it to look. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually enter my clues in notes. So I'm going to I'm going to right click on one of my cells, and then I'm going to go down to insert note. Okay, there's insert comment. Comment doesn't work the same way, so you really do need to select insert note. And that's where you type in a clue. So maybe this planet is closest to the sun. Okay, and that's a pretty easy one, but we'll do that. And then you see that that little black triangle appears in the upper right corner. And now I need to do something called conditional formatting to make sure that when someone enters Mercury as their answer, that the cell lights up a different color so that they're getting to know that they answered it correctly. So I right click on the cell and I go down to conditional formatting. Okay, and what I want to do is, it says format cells if cell is not empty. That's the default right now, but we want to go to text contains. Okay, and then we want to enter the value, which is Mercury. Okay, and this is not case sensitive, so if somebody puts a lowercase letter at the beginning of Mercury, it's not going to count it wrong. And then we select the fill color. I would recommend selecting all the cells the same fill color. The default is that greenish color, but maybe I want kind of this color right here. Okay, so now when a student enters Mercury, it'll turn that color. You would repeat this process for all of these, and you can make a free space in the middle here if you want, which all you would have to do is type free space, and then you would go ahead and format that one to the background color is the same, which I believe it's that color, so that way the students know they have a free space. And again, you would probably want to center this, maybe make it a little bit bigger. So if a student typed Earth right here, the cell would not light up. So that's how you can make your own bingo game using Google Sheets. I hope this video was useful. Thank you for watching.